Ladies and gentlemen, warriors of silence, architects of brilliance, and masters of unspoken power, tonight, we speak of a force so potent it shakes the very ground beneath those who dare to oppose it. As the shadows of this day lengthen and the sun bows out, I stand before you not as a guide, but as a herald of unyielding truth. Let's reflect on one intoxicating reality: true dominance is silent, calculated, and devastatingly effective. This is about the victories no one sees coming, the intellect wrapped in calm, and the storms you unleash without ever lifting a hand. Tonight, let's talk about them, the ones who dared to underestimate you. The ones who believed they controlled the board, never realizing the pieces were already moving against them. Picture the day while they whispered, schemed, and played their shallow games. You remained still, unshaken, unyielding, observing every move like a hunter stalking its prey. They believed they had the upper hand, didn't they? They thought their words carried weight, their tactics held power. But oh, how wrong they were. Because you didn't react, you didn't flinch, and that, my friends, was their undoing. Silence was your armor. But not just any silence, the kind that speaks louder than words, that challenges without a sound, that sends a chilling message: come for me. Try me. But tread carefully, for every step you take leads you deeper into my web. Words are a crutch for the insecure, a weapon for the desperate. You've never needed them. Your silence was deafening, your stillness unnerving. You didn't just outmaneuver them, you outclassed them. You became their unsolvable riddle, their undoing not by force, but by sheer mental superiority. Can you imagine their minds now? Spinning, unraveling, desperate to pinpoint where it all went wrong. Every glance, every pause, every calculated moment, they're dissecting it all, but they'll find nothing. Because you left no trail. You moved like a phantom, haunting their plans with your unshakable composure. And the best part, their pride won't let them admit it. No, they'll put on their masks, pretending to hold the upper hand, nursing their bruised egos in the dark. But deep within, they know they were outplayed, outthought, outlasted. You turned their fire to ash with the ocean of your indifference. Let me tell you something, remember it. Feel it in your very core: the silent strategist is the deadliest force in any room. The one who watches, learns, and strikes only when the moment is right. That's power. True, unshakable power. And today you proved it. You let them exhaust themselves in their theatrics. Let them run in circles while you stood steady. They played checkers, you mastered chess. You didn't need to raise your voice. You didn't need to stoop to their level. Your silence wasn't submission, it was supremacy. Now, as they lie awake tonight, haunted by the enigma of your stillness, you stand victorious. Not because you shouted the loudest or moved the fastest, but because you stayed sharp, stayed calm, and rewrote the rules of their game. But let's not be naive, this isn't the end. They'll be back. They always return. The small, the insecure, the threatened, they cannot stand the shadow of someone greater. They will scream louder, scheme harder, and try to drag you into their chaos. But here's the truth: they fear you are not just silence. You are the storm, and when they come for you again, they won't just face the quiet force that dismantled them. They'll meet the full fury of the hurricane you've always been. So stand tall, warriors of silence, architects of brilliance, and champions of your destiny. Let them doubt, let them crumble, let them fall apart, because you are untouchable. But let me ask you this: are you ready? Ready for the next wave? Because make no mistake, it's coming. The insecure don't rest. The envious don't relent. They'll rise again, fueled by their desperation, emboldened by their ignorance. They'll think they've learned, that this time will be different. But here's the truth: they'll never understand the battlefield they've stepped onto. They see your silence and call it weakness. They see your patience and call it hesitation. But in reality, it's your strength they cannot fathom. You are the calm before the storm, the predator waiting for the perfect moment to strike. They can't match your mind, so they'll attack your character. They'll try to drag you into their chaos, but you know better. You've seen through their illusions, their smoke screens, their fragile bravado. And here's where you solidify your power. You don't just stay silent, you sharpen it. Your quiet confidence becomes their undoing. Your ability to rise above their noise becomes their torment. Every time they come at you, you dismantle them not with force, but with finesse. You don't play their game, you create a new one, and they're too blinded by their pride to see they've already lost. Think about the torment they feel. Not because you screamed louder or fought harder, but because you were better, because you refused to give them the satisfaction of your reaction. They crave your anger, your frustration, anything to prove they mattered. But you give them nothing. And that void, it destroys them. Let them stew in their insecurities. Let them grapple with their failures. You are not here to feed their egos or validate their schemes. You're here to rise, to conquer, to remind the world that true strength doesn't need to shout, it simply exists. So when they come for you again, and they will, you won't just meet them with silence. You'll meet them with a presence so unshakable it becomes their nightmare. You'll stand as the embodiment of control, of mastery, of power that doesn't need permission to exist. They'll fear you, not because of what you say, but because of what you don't. They'll dread your gaze, your calm, your stillness. They'll learn, slowly and painfully, that the storm they sought to create was never theirs to command. It was always yours. And when the dust settles and their efforts crumble, you will stand untouched. Not as a survivor, but as a force they'll never understand and will never overcome. You are the storm. You are the storm. You, the silence. You are the undeniable. And as the echoes of their defeat ripple through the corners of their minds, a new truth begins to dawn upon them, one they cannot escape. You are inevitable. They thought they could challenge you. But how do you challenge what cannot be shaken? How do you fight someone who doesn't play by the rules you desperately cling to? Their greatest weapon was noise, but your silence drowned it. Their strongest move was chaos, but your calm unraveled it. And now they sit in the ruins of their plans, staring at the reality they refused to accept. You didn't just outlast them. You erased their influence, leaving nothing behind but a memory of what they thought they could achieve. But don't mistake their retreat for surrender. No, they'll keep coming. They always do. Fueled by a desperation they cannot name, they'll crawl back, trying harder, shouting louder, clawing at the edges of your world in a futile attempt to pull you down. And this is where you rise higher. Because you don't merely endure, you evolve. You're not the same as you were yesterday. Every challenge, every scheme, every moment they waste plotting against you, it only sharpens your resolve. While they obsess over you, you master yourself. While they crumble under the weight of their games, you soar above them. Untouchable. Unstoppable. Their greatest fear isn't losing. Their greatest fear is you winning without them ever understanding how it eats at them. It consumes them. And that is your ultimate triumph. Not their defeat, but the way your victory rewrites the narrative they try to control. So when they return with their new plans, their shallow strategies, and their desperate attempts to matter, remember this: they are running in circles, chasing shadows, while you move forward. You don't need to look back, because what's behind you no longer holds power over you. Let them come. Let them scheme. Let them shout. You'll remain as you are, a fortress of silence, a storm of unrelenting strength. Every attempt they make to dismantle you will only serve as proof of your dominance. Every failure of theirs will echo your supremacy. You are the embodiment of power that doesn't demand recognition. You are the force they fear but cannot touch. You are the lesson they'll never learn. And in the end, while they sink into their own chaos, you'll rise, unscathed, unapologetic, and unyielding. Let the world take note: this is how you win. By standing tall in your silence, unbroken by their noise, and leaving them to drown in the chaos they created. You are inevitable, unstoppable, and unforgettable.